We getting ready to get into the BET Awards, Darnisha. Now, the 2025, I don't even watch these award shows. I stopped watching BET. I did an article about 20 years ago, and I called it Black Embarrassment TV. This is how I end up speaking at the Congressional Black Caucus about 20 years ago. These people gonna give Snoop Dogg an award. And y'all know how I feel about Snoop Dogg. This is just a black version of Paris Hilton. That's what I call him. Or should I call him Gomer Pyle? Okay, I am not a fan of Snoop Dogg. I think Darnisha really love him, but that's okay. We still cool. What do you think of the BET Awards, Darnisha?
Yeah, after over the last 10 or 15 years, he's really changed. He really has. He's no longer for the streets. He's more so for kind of like a puppet, as you might say, that, dress rehearsal. Ever since he got with Martha and then the Olympics, it just seems like he's just doing everything on his own, per se, for whatever it is that's going to make the money, even if it is selling out the hood and or the neighborhood in the sense. The BET Awards, it was good. It was okay. I didn't watch all of it. I just saw segments of it. But I just think, though, the way in which they did the different types of awards and the ceremony, where it was just kind of, I don't know, it was just all over the place. One thing I do want to say, though, is the tribute to Jamie Foxx was done very nicely. It was classy. It wasn't anything over the top. And I mean, he was really moved by how everyone came up and showed out for him. I mean, I think that was probably the most genuine thing done at the awards. He was really moved. He was really moved.
And a lot of people talked about that too, but that's how they do us. That's how they do us. They know how to play our emotional strings. Sometimes I get caught up too. I get caught up, or I used to get caught up. Okay, but it's hard for me to forget stuff, folks. Look what Donald Trump is doing right now to this country, right? He's tearing, not to get all political and stuff, he's tearing this country apart. And Snoop Dogg was just hanging out with him. That's why the power structure said they seen the black people turning on Snoop Dogg. So they said, well, we got to do something. That's why they gave him an award at BET. And for the first time, this is what I heard, it wasn't trash TV. Because we already know how them people dress for the last 15, 20 years at the BET Awards. We already know.
Yes,
So it was
they
good.
now they cleaned, like you said, they cleaned it up, but they only cleaned it up, for the regular awards. But guess what? When you brought Kirk Franklin out and Tamar Braxton in a dress that came up to her chin and cleavage that came down to her belly button, singing a gospel song. Ridiculous. Again, we weren't at church, so I'm not trying to judge you and be churchy about it. But however, that you should not have done. I'm sorry. The minute that you saw Tamar backstage or anywhere else, I would have gone and said, hey, choreographer, whoever, we cannot have this. No, no, no. Because again, you're over here talking about the goodness of God, and she's showing off all of God's assets that He were given to her. It was ridiculous, to say
And
the
that's
least.
sad. That's sad because ever since those people bought BET used to have Teen Summit, used to have some good shows and stuff. But ever since those people bought it, BET is not, it shouldn't even be called BET.
Hmm.
Okay, like I said, it should be called, well, BET, yes, Black Embarrassment TV. And there's a whole bunch of other ones I can come up with. Okay, but I'm going to be respectful because I'm a
Right.
respectful man.
Because
Okay, but
everyone can be bought at this point in time. Everybody can be bought. And like you just said, hey, you know what? Oh gosh, he's feeling a little left out. Let's give him an award. And again, I mean, You coming up there, your wife's all hooded down, looking all like, gangster, glasses on. How disrespectful, to have glasses on, to have sunglasses on. You're not that cool. And what have our parents always told us and taught us in anything? I don't care whether you're white, black, brown, yellow, or pink, right? You give eye contact. You don't put your shades on. That's disrespectful. Now, again, if they're progressive lenses and you're inside, take them off if they've turned. But again, you don't do that. That's just disrespectful.
It is, and it's crazy at that because that's the thing they've done. All these celebrities, they've been disrespecting the black community. Every now and then you get a sprinkle of positive, but overall, if you look back at the history of black celebrities, would you say they've been a positive for black people or black people's image? Because to me, they don't really owe black people anything other than make sure you have a good image. Because we all grown, we all should be handling our own business. But these people are the reason why we have to jump over many hurdles. They've been stereotyping us forever, folks. Okay, and now sometimes they want to give us a good show to make you feel good. See, I don't ever forget. That's my problem. I am not forgetting the damage because it's too much. Because I'm not going to let you give me $10. It's almost like they hold us down underwater, right? They hold us underwater and you trying to get up. And then you come up, they want you to be happy because now you up. No, I'm still mad because you held me under the water. I'm not going to reward you for you the one finally let me up when you was the one holding me underwater. They have been pushing terrible images especially Snoop Dogg. Now they're trying to clean him up because he worked for those people. This man is one of the worst celebrities of all time. Okay, you tell me what celebrity sold crack, self-admitted crack dealer, was on trial for murder. He also had some issues with women I'm not going to get into, but y'all know about his issues with women, some serious issues with women. Y'all tell me why this man ain't never went to prison. Yeah, he went to jail, but that's where they turn you out at in jail. And then he spent a whole decade pushing gangster music, a whole decade. He the one who helped legalize marijuana. And nothing wrong with that, but that's what they want. They want you high.
Yeah, but we can get into the marijuana thing. There is something wrong with that because there's a problem when the government started stepping on it. It was fine when Pookie's dog was peeing on it, was from the earth. But now you have all these synthetic stuff. I'm just saying, right? And you take a look at things that people are doing.
Hey, you ain't saying nothing. I remember because my mama used to smoke weed, and all of a sudden she started saying, that ain't no weed. It is chemicals. I used to tell people, I said, you just smoking Raid. You smoking Raid. Because now they got to spray all the weeds, especially if it's grown. That's what they smoking, chemicals. It ain't natural herbs anymore.
Not only that, now we can control what we send to South Central and what we send up to Sylmar. We can control what goes into Beverly Hills and what goes into the south side of Chicago. You can take out a whole neighborhood. Seriously. And that's what we need to realize.
And that's what they do. They take out a whole neighborhood in many ways, but that's not on this page. That's on the other
You're
page.
Right, it's not.
We're trying to keep it celebrity and stuff. So anyway, BET, you got any last words on your BET before I wrap it up?
Like I said, did you see the performance by Kirk?
No, I didn't watch it drop.
Gotcha. Okay.
I can't take. You know what? I'm at that age and that stage in my life where I'll try, but sometimes I've given up because I don't have anything against gay people. You live your life. But I see an agenda. So once I see a gay character, it's hard for me to keep watching something. I'm not saying that's what they did. And it's nothing against gay people. I've had coworkers that was gay. But it's hard because my mind won't stop. It's like, why they keep pushing this agenda? And ever since that movie, Revenge of the Nerds, when the only black person that was in the movie was a gay person, I just know they got an agenda, and I can't help it. And like I said, I don't have nothing against gay people, but let me tell you something like I tell my daughters, I tell my nieces, I tell everybody, I'm going to tell this all the black women, because we already talked about Tyler Perry, and I'm going to tell this to gay people too. I want you guys to understand this. This is a hard thing to understand. This go for black men too, that's celebrities. At the end of the day, You black before you a woman. You black before you gay. Do you understand that? And when shit hit this fan, they're not gonna go, oh, that's a female. They're gonna fuck you up. Because that's where the country's going. They're not gonna go, oh, that's a gay black man. No, they're gonna go, you know what they're gonna say. And that's what I don't like, how all these people have their own agenda. They split the community up. No, you black before you gay. You black before you a woman. And if you notice how powerful that is, the community didn't go down until black women started promoting for themselves instead of promoting for the community. And I'm not saying black men wasn't selfish either. They had their own selfish ways as well. But they really had an agenda to push you to be selfish. Okay, so let's all understand that. You black before anything. It took me, you know what it took for me to understand that? When I was in college and I dated a few women from another race. And I seen how society treated black women different from other women. Because you don't really see it until like you dealing with those other women, because I've always dealt with black women. But I can really see it. I was like, whoa, they really be going after sisters, whether it's emotional, mental. So let's all come back and think community first. Can we do that, folks? I didn't mean to go on my tangent. All right, folks. Until next week, y'all take care. Peace.